Resume recording and make sure I'm on the right page. Okay, good morning, everybody. Nice to see you here today. Welcome. And we've got some people here from China, from Bali, Mongolia. Wow, we've got people coming in from everywhere now. Great to see everybody. My name is Andrew. I'm one of the teacher trainers and academic consultants here at National Geographic Learning. And we're going to be looking today at a webinar. As you can see, the title is about building friendships and school readiness. So we'll have a little bit of fun with that topic today as we do some reading and writing with a program called Reflect. Okay, so just a little bit of an introduction to get us started here. So as I said, my name is Andrew. I've been a teacher trainer for quite a number of years, as well as a teacher, doing all sorts of language programs. A lot of my students tend to be younger, whereas today's program is more for maybe upper teens or university age students. You could use it with younger students, but some of the topics are more revolving around ideas that are like, for the age group 14 plus, I would guess. But yeah, we'll have a look at that today as we go through. But I'll be trying to share some ideas with you of how we can present the content and do things with it. And hopefully you can take some of these ideas away for your own classroom as well. Okay. Just to note, everybody, if you can make sure your chat box is set to everyone. I think most people have got that set up already. Okay, you can do that with the little option just above where you type. And also you can use the Q&A button today. If you have a question, then that's the best place to put it. I will try and answer all the questions at the end. If you put a question in the chat box, my colleagues Will and Kitty, who are here, will try and answer them. But they may also disappear in the chat box as other people are typing different things. So yeah, try and use the Q&A box if you can, and we'll make sure to answer at the end, if not before. Okay, so today, as I said, Will has noted in the chat box, Reflect, which is the program we're doing today, is an academic English program. It's broken up into two parts or two strands. We can do a reading and writing strand, or we can do a listening and speaking strand. Today, I'm going to do the reading and writing one. And I have a little bit of a poll, which is a little different to other polls we've done in the past. I want you to tell me a little bit about when you're doing a reading and writing course like this one is, what are some of those outcomes that you focus on in terms of order of importance? So what's the most important thing to you? And then what's the second, and so on and so on. So there are 6, I will launch it and you will see them. There are 6 options. So choose first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth for those 6 options. So reading, writing, listening, speaking, the topic content, which is like if you're learning about food, then, that's the topic, or personal skills, which is maybe not something we're teaching in the class, but maybe it's more interaction in your classroom, or maybe it's more self-awareness, or being able to express yourself, or giving the critical thinking and reasoning. I don't know. So in the chat, in the poll, there, if you can please try and select one for each. If you select more than one as your first, that's okay. It doesn't really matter too much, but try and stick a few in and we will see what people say when we're done. I'll give it about another 15 or 20 seconds because I know it takes a little thinking. How do I answer this question? All right. So I'm just going to wait until we've got a few more answers. We don't need everybody, but we'll try and get a few more. Remembering this is a reading and writing course. This is interesting. We're getting some nice answers here. Things we can have a little think about. Okay, I'll give it 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and that will do. I'll pause it there. So I know only a fraction of you answered. That's okay. But on the screen, you can see the different results. And you can see, yeah, most of us are kind of placing our first or second priority on reading and writing, which kind of makes sense because that's what we're trying to teach in the course is reading and writing skills. But then you can also see topic content relates really highly as well. So yeah, quite a lot of people, almost half of people are saying that's their first or second option. And then listening and speaking and personal skills come further down the list. And I guess that's okay. But you can see nothing really stands out as being, I don't do this, I think, which is the interesting one. A lot of us have these different things as our first or second option. So I think this is interesting, right? And as we go through today, we're obviously going to be doing reading and writing skills. Obviously, there'll be listening. As a student, you're listening to me, pretending to be your teacher, and you're going to use the chat box as your speaking component today. But we will be exploring content ideas, and this content is a personal skills idea, but also, you know, it's the ways we interact and the ways we do things as part of the class. That's personal skills as well. Okay. So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, great. So I am going to close that, and I'm going to switch screens and go into the content for today. Because we're going to get into a little bit about school readiness. And I just wanted to define what school readiness is when you are ready academically, but also socio-emotionally, right, within your personal skills to be able to succeed in an educational environment. You can be very intelligent, but not able to work in an educational environment because of a lack of socio-emotional skills or an inability to do the things that the structure of that educational environment requires, right? The social structure, right? So this is some of the things we're looking at as we talk about this today, okay? So let me jump into the content, and now I'm switching to teacher mode. So now I'm the teacher, you're the students. Use the chat box to let me know what you think and answers to the question. So on the screen here, it says we have a group of orangutans laugh together. So when you look at that picture, how does it make you feel? What does it make you think about, and how does it make you feel? In the chat box, let me know. How does that photo make you feel? Makes you feel happy, says Gladys. It's a unique photo, yeah. Kind of relaxed. They're so excited. Nice. They seem happy. Okay. Curious about what they're talking about. Well, you think they're communicating with each other. Okay. Animals have personality. Good. They're getting along well, says Wenjing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it's interesting, this photo. I actually went online and I tried to find, yeah, they're understanding each other. Yeah. Cool. Sharing a funny moment, Yumi. Yeah. So I went and tried to find a similar photo to this one online, right? And what I came up with where's my, oh, I need to scroll up. Excuse me. I came up with this photo, right? So if you look at this photo, does that photo give you the same kind of feelings as the orangutan photo? Right? So similar, right? And so what could we say about these three gentlemen in this particular photo? It shows men just because I figured they have a little bit more similarity to orangutans, perhaps. Okay. Yeah, maybe, right? It's like, yeah, they're, you know, what would you say the relationship is here? They're friendly, says someone. Okay. Yeah, and you can see like the mouths and the hand gestures and the eyes and things like that. And when I jump back to the other slide here, if I jump back to here, it's not too dissimilar, is it? Right? It is somewhat similar to what we saw there. Yeah. Kind of hilarious, but at the same time, what does that tell you about these orangutans and potentially the relationship that they have? Because animals are social creatures too, most of them. Not every animal, but most animals are social creatures. So what do you feel is the relationship between these orangutans? What do you think? Any suggestions, any ideas? They're good friends, says Vivian. They're friends. They're brothers, maybe. They could be brothers. Yep, they like each other. Okay, so the question I have would be, why might they be friends? If you put yourself in the orangutan's perspective for a moment, you're in the jungle or wherever. This could be a zoo, but I'm going to assume it's in the jungle. But they're obviously in the same environment as each other. Why might they be friendly? Why might they be friends? Who can give us a reason? Maybe because they share the same interests, right? They all like mangoes. I don't know, right? It could be. They have the same beliefs. Okay. Do orangutans have beliefs like we as humans have beliefs? That's an interesting thing to think about, right? Feelings are contagious. I like that one. So because one laughs, the others are encouraged, to laugh because it's a contagious kind of emotion. It could be, yeah. Will says they live in groups to keep them safe and collaborate, right? So maybe because they're tribe mates, that maybe that's why they're friends, right? But we know that not everybody in our human tribes are friendly or friends with each other, right? My hometown is not very big, but people in my hometown are not always friends with each other, okay? Yeah, they could just be relaxed to be together, right? Comfortable with each other, true. They don't feel threatened by each other, and so maybe that's why they're friendly, good. So these are lots of good reasons why these orangutans might be friends, yeah. And so when we look at the title, we're going to be talking about the power of friendship in this unit. And if we look at some of the objectives, we're going to focus on some of the objectives here. So we're going to talk about in this unit some of the ideas in this unit and how they relate to your experience. Will says they don't have jobs to do. Okay, so they're happy and relaxed. Okay, like the dolphins from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? Anyway, thanks for all the fruit. Yeah, we're going to talk about different kinds of friends, the importance of friends, and we're going to write a paragraph. So these are some of the things we're going to do in this unit. And some of these will be done by reading and some will be done by writing. Okay, and some of the skills we'll be working on is looking at paragraph structure. We're going to touch on that today. Topic sentences and organizing a paragraph, and supporting opinions and reasons. Now, obviously, this is a fairly big unit. I'm not going to have time to go through it all. I am cherry picking a few little pieces just to give you a flavor of some of the ideas that are in here. But I hope that goes well today. Okay, so as we look at the bottom here, there is one question I want to focus on. Number 2, why are friends important to us? Why do we feel friends are important? So in the chat box, very quickly, why are friends important? They help us, says Veronica. Nice. I like it. Friends help us. If people don't help us, sometimes we don't want to be friends with them. Friends are family and family are friends sometimes, yeah. They're our safe space, Katrina. I like that. They make us comfortable, right? A shoulder to weep on. Maybe friends in retirement. I saw someone say, yeah. Share our emotions with them, feel safe and appreciated. They keep our lives alive, enthusiastic and driven. Nice. Social needs as mankind. Yeah, we have that social need as a species, right? Yeah, totally. Yeah. Friends is in human nature, Sammy, exactly, right? Yeah, great. So lots of good reasons. I love all the different reasons you've got. And if you can draw any or all of these reasons out of your students who are doing this topic, the language level of this topic is not very high. You're talking kind of an A2 level of language, maybe a little higher. So if the students are able to operate in that level, then and give you a lot of these reasons, that's really, really good. Okay, but we can scaffold our students into it. Okay. Great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to look, you can see as I just look through here, there are a lot of content pages in here. I'm not going to do them all today. I'm just going to focus on a few. And I'm going to start up here with activity A at the top. So because it kind of assumes that this program is maybe being done at a university level, that we have to make an assumption about the age of the students. Here it says, what kinds of activities and clubs are there at college? Okay. Now, obviously, I think all of us are out of college now. Maybe a few of us are still students, but most of us are, I guess, are not. But can you give me in the chat box some clubs or activities that you might do, not just at college, but maybe in your own lives? So I am in a Rotary club. I know Rotary is not in every country around the world, but it is in a lot. And I've been doing lots of volunteer events lately. Katrina's got the sports club. We've got a movie watching club. Yeah. Dance club, music club. Good. Lots of different things. Board games. Yeah. Culinary club, community outreach. Yeah. Tons of different things, right? So why are we talking, why do you think in this unit, when we're talking about friends, why do you think we're talking about activities and clubs? What's the link between this activity and our topic for today? What's the link between the question and the topic? Yeah, so clubs and activities foster camaraderie, says Clint, right? So yeah, it's interacting with us. It's maybe how we establish friendships or maintain friendships, perhaps. Exactly. Okay, now In the second section here, there's obviously a little bit of vocabulary and things we're going to add in, academic kind of vocabulary, to make sure people are familiar with it. Let's just run through this one really fast. It should be pretty easy for us. So here we've got 5 definitions, A, B, C, D, E. We've got 5 words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which one? Brave. Which one is brave? Let's just do this really quickly. More for completeness sake than anything else. We think D. Okay. Number 2, dorm or dormitory. C. Okay. Number 3, nervous. Nervous. Which one do we think for nervous? B. Okay, good. Number 4, similar. Oh, someone thinks 3 is E. Someone thinks 3 is E. Are we okay with B on that one? Okay. 4 is A, similar. Okay. And then 5, stressful. Stressful. What do we think for this one? 5E. Okay. Okay, good. Let's try that. Let's see. So over here we can check our answers, right, and see what we got right. Let's see if we got them all. Oh, okay. So these 2 are the other way around. Okay. So if we look at it, if I select all the answers, nervous is worried about a future event. That's the key bit, right? If it's something in the future, we get nervous about it. Right? If it's something now, it makes us stressed, right? In general, causing worry and anxiety. But we don't get nervous about the past. We don't get nervous about the now, right? So when, if you watch, the first example I can think of, if you watch America's Got Talent, sometimes the judges ask the contestant, are you nervous during the introduction, right? So because that's going to be about their performance, which is in the future. Okay, so nervous goes with a future event, not a current event or a past event, but stressful can be anything, past, present, or future. Okay, so I think that's the way I distinguish those ones. Nice, good job. Okay, so we're learning something new. Good. Now, in this one down here, we've got a video. I'm going to load up the video here, and we'll look at the question in the video. Now, when I play the video shortly, you may not see the video so well, but you will be able to hear the video. So I hope that goes okay, even if you can't see. Thanks, Alex. Okay, so it says here, watch the video and put the ideas in the order you hear them. So before we start the video, I want you to think, if this one is about finding friends, making friends, getting friendly with people, and it is about that, here are 5 things that are going to be mentioned. Which order do you think these things are going to be mentioned in? Sammy, normally, just to explain, as you're thinking about the question I just asked, which order would A, B, C, D, E be in? Yeah, teachers would usually run it like this, but students can also do similar activities in online practice or practice they can do outside of class. You could do some of these student activities in class as well, but the ones I'm showing you right now are the teacher version. The student version looks almost exactly the same, okay, but would have different activities. Okay, related but different, right? Okay, so back to the question, which one of these do you think is the first one that we will hear about? Be yourself, be open, be brave, meet classmates, or join in. Which of those do you think is going to happen first in the video? We're talking about meeting people, making friends. So you think join in, be open. Okay, we've got a few more votes for E, so let's go with that one as number 1. Okay, now, pause, stop, number 2. Which one do we think is going to be number 2? It's a bit hard when everybody's just typing letters. Which one's going to be number 2? Is it going to be yourself, be open, be brave, or meet classmates? We've got a couple of D's, B's, we've got an A. Okay, we've got a couple more D's. So you think it's going to be meet classmates as number 2. Okay, not going to do them all. We'll leave it there because I'm not going to play the whole video. I'm only going to play part of it. It is a 2-minute video. But I'm just going to play the first 40, 50 seconds of it, okay, which is the introduction and part of the content for you. So let's take a look and see what we've got. Here we go. I will skip the first few seconds, which is just the slides. There we go.
Starting at a new school is an exciting time, but it can also be stressful.
You can see the students here look like university students.
You have plenty of friends at home. People you've known your whole life, perhaps. But you don't know anyone at your new school. Now you have to start again. Here are some tips for making friends at a new school. 1. Be brave. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Remember that everyone is nervous. Early in the school year, everyone wants to make friends. Introduce yourself to anyone who looks friendly. 2. Be open. Leave your dorm room door open so people can come in and talk to you. Also, be open to new people and new experiences. Maybe all your friends at home played sports.
Will wants to watch the whole
But maybe
thing.
now is
Okay.
the time to meet people who do other things. 3. Join in. Look into the clubs and organizations on your new campus. There are usually clubs for everything from frisbee to a cappella singing groups. Make an effort to try something totally new, or do something you already know and like. 4. Meet classmates. Start a conversation, and you might find you have things in common. If you're taking the same classes, chances are you have similar interests. 5. Be yourself. Don't try to act like everyone else. You want people to like you for you.
There we go. Very good. Okay. So seems we didn't get them right, but we were totally guessing, right? Because we had no context other than what we thought might happen. So yeah, we said join in and meet classmates. It turns out be brave and be open with the first two. Now, of those suggestions, do you think those are good suggestions for trying to find new friends, or do you disagree with any of those? Do you feel those are useful, or do you think, it doesn't work for me, or doesn't work in my situation or in my location? Okay, I think it's pretty useful. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, they're useful. Okay, good. Yeah, actually, it's really interesting because at the moment where I'm living, university year is starting this week. And so we call this the orientation week. And so at the moment, there's a lot of people engaging in these kinds of activities. But because this is New Zealand, where I am, there's also a lot of alcohol involved and some misbehaving as well. Yeah, there's a lot of this going on at the moment in the city where I am. We've got about 15,000 students here, and the place is crazy. Anyway, okay, but yeah, so, and then again, we can check our answers. And in this case, I was filling them in as we were going. There we go. Okay. But it's interesting, right? It gives you some ways to maybe meet people and do things. And maybe in the class, the English class, maybe we can try and do some of these things with each other as well to try and meet more people. So D, there's a discussion activity here. What can we do to make more friends at your school? So does anyone have a suggestion other than those examples, or maybe a more detailed example of those ones we just saw? I'll put the list back here so you can see the list as well. Any specific examples of those things, or any other things that you feel might help you to make friends? And so what I'm doing here as I'm asking these questions, I'm getting my students to think, but they're also engaging, right? And they're also is people in class are getting to know more about each other through a discussion or through an interaction. So maybe we can't think of any more. That's okay, because those are some pretty solid tips that are going to work in just about any situation, I think. Yeah. Whinging, knock on the flatmate's door and offer them some drinks. Yeah, that might work. Yeah. Oh, Instagram. Yeah, social media. That's another one. Exchange social accounts. Yeah, that's not on the list there. Maybe that's being open to just sharing your social media with a lot of other people, because I know some people don't do that as much, right? But maybe they need to be more open about sharing social accounts with each other. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, looking into short programs that suits interests, right? Finding people with similar interests. That's a good one. Yeah. Be honest, helpful, and get along with others. Yeah, so help new people who don't even know you, and it gives them a reason to be your friend, right? And smile. Vivian, I love that one. Yeah. You're following the Patch Adams advice. That's a good one. If you don't know who Patch Adams is, you can look him up later on. Okay. Let's give a reward. I think that goes with Wenjing's give them a drink, I think, that one. Very nice. Okay, good suggestions, everybody. Well done. So what I'm going to do now is, if I zoom out, there are more activities here in terms of including a preparing to read activity, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to simply jump the page and I'm going to go to this one. And I'm going to jump in to an activity which is coming up to the reading. Now here it says, read the title and the first sentence of each paragraph. Now, when I do this with students, what I often find is they don't follow the instruction and they just start to read everything. So what I've done is I've prepared a separate board over here with my three laughing gentlemen, and I've put the 5 first sentences on here. So you're just looking at these, you're not looking at anything else. You can just see those things, okay? And the question that we want to answer is, what do we think is the main idea of this article? What is this article about? What do you think this article is about? So in the chat box, what do we think this article is about? From those 5 sentences, what do we think this article is about? Casual friends, says Angelina. Okay, so that casual friends is a general idea. Okay, is there any more detail that we can add to that idea? The benefits of having casual friends, or the importance of having casual friends, right? Good. So it's a little bit more detail, right? Okay. Make more friends and have a better life. But what type of friends, Jasmine? Right? The benefits of having friends. Okay, so maybe if we put everything together that you've kind of said, it seems like it's important to have casual friends, because it's mentioned quite a few times here. We can see the word casual friends popping up in 3 of the sentences, right? Oh, 4 of the sentences actually, right? So we've got it, we've got it like in these kind of places here. We've got casual friends. And maybe they help us make our lives better, it says in the last one. So this seems to be what we're looking at, right? Okay, so how do we draw that information out? Well, it's because these are certain types of sentences that can help us analyze a piece of writing. So let's understand what we're looking at here in terms of these sentences, right? So when we look at a paragraph will always have a topic, okay? So maybe the topic here is about casual friends. And each paragraph will also have a main idea, right? So if I look back up, maybe the main idea of the second paragraph is about making us happy, okay? And then there is a topic sentence, right? And that puts together the topic and maybe ties in some of the main idea and shares it with us through the topic sentence. And as it says here, it's usually the first or the second paragraph, not always. So sorry, sentence in the paragraph. Okay, but that's not good enough. We can't just do a sentence and we're done, because what we need to do is we need to provide some support and some evidence and some reasoning why we feel or believe or state that that thing is true. Okay, and then finally, it's always good to end a paragraph by having a concluding sentence to wrap it up. Okay, so going through this, obviously I would do a bit more detail in class, and we could do a couple of examples, which we'll also do later. But we want to introduce these ideas so the students have the academic language to be able to talk about and break down and analyze what we're going to read. Okay, so we want to introduce all those ideas, and it appears that these sentences could be topic sentences for our reading today. Okay, so what we're going to do is, now that we've had a look at those, we're going to jump back to here. And question 2 says here, so we've talked about what we think the title or the article is about, excuse me. The second one here says, look at the photo and read the caption. What does it show and how does it connect to the article? So if I just zoom out that far, right? How do you think, and I'll scroll up and down because there's a bit more to the photo here. So customers talk with farmers at a farm stand in Maui, Hawaii, USA. The man is getting his pizza to go. So apparently in the banana leaves, those are banana leaves, there'll be a pizza in there somewhere. But how do you think this photo relates to the idea we just said of maybe talking about casual friends or how they improve our life or why they're important? How does this picture relate to that topic, do you think? How do those things link together? Any ideas? Not sure? It's okay. I know we've got a little delay before I see your answers in the chat box, so it happens like that, but there might also be you're not sure. They're smiling, okay, and because they're smiling, maybe they're being friendly, but are they friends? They are kind of helping each other. Yeah, she's helping him get his pizza, right? Maybe she's serving and he's a customer. Okay, could be. Socializing is a good example of meeting new people. Great. Yeah, that could be Tomoko. That could be a good one. Yeah. They're doing something like casual friends. Maybe they are casual friends. They know each other, but just casually, just because you're the guy who always gets pizza with no pineapple or something. I don't know, right? Yeah, so maybe they know each other at some level, but they're not really close friends. Right? They don't see each other outside of this particular setting. That could be the reason, right? So yeah, we want to let people think about this first before we read, because then when you're reading, if you've already thought about some of the ideas, reading, when you encounter those similar ideas again, it makes your reading process of absorbing the information much more fluent. Okay? It lowers the barrier. It makes it easier to read if you've already thought about a lot of the topic before you read. This is why you do it, right? It makes your brain more comfortable. It makes reading easier. It gives people a better feeling about reading, okay? So you can see these were the bits I talked about earlier I just copied those into the other document there about the structure of the paragraph. But now let's have a look. What we're going to do is we're going to zoom in. So the title of this is Casual Friends Make a Difference. I'm just going to let you read the first two paragraphs. We're not going to do more than two. There are 5, but we're not going to do all 5. We'll just do 2. So take a moment and read the first 2 paragraphs for yourself. And then we're just going to quickly talk on the next page about the elements of those paragraphs, right? Things like the topic sentence, the main idea, the support that goes into those pieces of information. Things like that, okay? Okay, so when you've finished reading the 2 paragraphs, just type done in the chat box and then I'll know to move on. Once I've got like 5 dones. 1, 2, 3. Sammy's okay, and Seiko's done. Good, okay, we've got 5, as I said, so let's move on. So now that we've looked at that, we'll see these again as we do the activities, but what we would do is we would normally read all 5, right, and we can discuss a little bit, but then we've got follow-up questions that help us break down and analyze this. There's quite a few here. You can see A, B, C, B, C, D, and then some others. Let's take a quick look. So in the first one here, it says underline the main ideas in the 2 in paragraphs 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we can do that interactively with the classroom presentation tool. So let me open the activity. And this is a way you can do it on the board without having to write too much, right? It makes your teaching job easier with this kind of tool. So what you can see is as I take the highlighter tool and I move it over the paragraph, it highlights different fragments of sentences. And what we're looking for is the main idea, okay? So what do we think the main idea of the first paragraph is? What's the main idea of this paragraph 2? What do we think? Any ideas on what is the main idea? It's one of these sentence fragments. The first sentence, okay. Now in the first sentence, I can apparently highlight 2 pieces, either first or casual friends make us happy. I'm assuming it's that one. Right? Okay, good. So we're suggesting that this is the main idea. Okay, it seems like these other things are some kind of reasoning or support, perhaps, and then maybe this is a concluding sentence, right? So what about in the second one? Do you think it's also that first sentence? And maybe do you think it's just the first sentence fragment in each case? Is that the main idea for each of these? Sammy thinks yes. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And if we check those, then yes, that's correct. And part of the reason for that, you don't always have to have the main idea as the first sentence, but especially when you're modeling writing, which is what we're going to be doing later, these are good models for writing, and to encourage students to put their main idea at the front of their paragraph is a good scaffolding structure to get them writing, and then later when they develop more skills, we can show them little tricks and styles that let you put it in other places, right? But for now, let's just keep it simple, right? We're going to model putting it at the front every time. Okay, great. So we've done that one. Now the main ideas, there are 5 paragraphs, which is the main idea for each of the paragraphs. So again, if we go back in this time, we can check. So here's the first 2 paragraphs again. You can see them on the side here. Which of these 5 fragments matches with number 1 and which matches with number 2? So which kind of main kind of heading or idea goes with that one? So if you had to put a subheading above the paragraph, which subheading would you use? So for number 1, which one would it be? A, B, C, D, E. For number 1. You think B, who are casual friends? Okay, cool. What about number 2? Number 2, I think someone's suggesting E for number 2. Okay. For number 2, cool. Yeah, maybe because it says friends and happiness, and here it's talking about making us happy, perhaps. That seems a solid reason. Let's try and see. Okay, and yes, we got those 2 right. We didn't try the other ones, so that's okay. But one interesting thing is sometimes we may feel that the main idea is a little different to each other. We might not always agree on what the main idea is. Now, let me show you why really, really quickly. I'm going to switch screens, go back to my definitions of these different parts of a paragraph, right? Because what does it say down here? This bit here, it talks about the main idea, and it says it's the most idea that the writer wants to communicate. So the writer wants to give you an idea. Does that mean that's the idea that you receive? Just because Will wants to tell us something, does that mean that's what I understand when Will says it? And in good writing, the answer is yes, right? Usually, but not always, because we might disagree. We might feel, I think the writer is trying to say this, and we might not agree with each other, okay? In not so good writing, then usually people are very confused about what the writer is trying to tell us. Okay, but usually if you've got a main idea and most people agree on what that main idea is, the writer has done their job. Okay, they have successfully shared their idea. Okay, but we don't always have to agree on the main idea. I might disagree with you. I might think it's something a little different. Okay, good. Okay, so let's jump back to here and let's just look at the first one. So in here, this is in the first paragraph, if you look at it closely, and I said, what do you think is the topic sentence in that first paragraph? What is the sentence that shares the topic of this first paragraph? Any ideas what the topic sentence might be? So it has to be one of these things that's written here. For example, is it the first sentence? Is that the topic sentence? Or is it a different sentence? Yeah, maybe it's something to do with this bit because it's talking about casual friends, or maybe it's a question about casual friends. Or maybe it's this one. When we have a lot of casual friends, it improves our lives in several ways. Is that kind of on the topic? I don't know. This is where this paragraph might be a little different, right? So maybe we're not quite sure on that one, but we understand what the whole article's about. It's about casual friends, right? But yeah, how does that, is this just a style? Sometimes reading can be a little confusing, and that's okay. We can disagree a little bit on what we think is going on, but overall, I think we'll get the idea in the reading. Okay, good. Now, we're going to jump down. There's a true-false activity here, which is really a comprehension one. I'm going to jump down to here, and you can see there's a reflect activity here. I'm just watching my time. I believe I'm okay. My watch is slightly slow. You can see in here. Which is better, best friends or casual friends? Who is more important? And you can see here we've got to give a reason, right? So can someone give me an example of saying, I feel that best friends are more important or casual friends are more important, and then give me a reason why, right? So I want a statement, best friends or casual friends, and I want a reason. Who can do that in the chat box quickly? And then everybody else can have a think about whether or not they agree with that reason. Okay, Will's got one. Most of my best friends now live far away, so casual friends that I see are more important at the moment. Okay, so in Will's case, casual friends are more important because his best friends live far away and he doesn't see them so often. Okay, does that seem like a good reason in Will's situation? What do you think? Will lives in Singapore, but he was born in the UK. So do you think Will's reason makes good sense for Will? Or does that make no sense at all? I'm using Will's example. Because what I want you to do is, as a person who is not Will, I want you to think from Will's viewpoint, right? I want you to practice that social emotional skill of thinking from another person's viewpoint. So Rommel's saying, yes, that makes sense from Will's point of view, but Rommel might disagree with what Will is saying. He may disagree with that idea, and that's okay. But from Will's standpoint, he might say, I can understand why Will feels that way. And trying to understand another person is a good way to think about that, right? So this could be an activity that you could extend in class by saying, yeah, everybody can give me an opinion and a reason, but then if other people critique that reason and we think about it from that person's point of view about what we know about that person, does that make sense? Does it seem valid? And it's a good way to get our students thinking about other people, literally, because sometimes we think far too much about ourselves, right? And we do need to spend more time thinking from another viewpoint, right? Yeah. So while all of you have said what's true for you, sometimes we also want to think about it from another person's viewpoint. Yeah. Nice one. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump ahead. Obviously, there are more activities here. There is a whole other reading article and follow-up questions to do with that. But I'm going to jump ahead to the writing because this is a reading and writing course and I want to do some writing with you. We'll have a little bit of fun with this. So for the writing, we're going to jump in. It says here, we're going to write a paragraph to describe a friend you admire or that you like, you have a good opinion of, and you're going to write about some of their qualities. So appearance, personality, actions, things they do, ways they act, stuff like that. Okay, cool. Now, in the first one here, there's a model. Okay, so let's fire up the model quickly. And it says in here, what is the topic sentence? We can do the same thing as last time. We can highlight a sentence. What is the topic sentence here? What is the topic sentence? Diana, I like your statement about friends in the chat box. Very nice. I wish we all had that for each other, for everyone, right? Veronica's suggesting the first one. Okay, I admire my friend very much. Okay, now that's the topic sentence. What is the topic? Not the topic sentence. What is the topic? Yeah, good. My friend Hannah. Very good, Teresa. So my friend Hannah is the topic. And the thing I'm saying about the topic, the main idea that I want to share is that I admire her. Okay, those are the two elements of the topic sentence. It's the topic and the main idea that I want to share. So good job. We got that one. Well done. Again, nice simple model, keeping it easy, right? Now, if you look through this one, you can see there are a lot of different qualities that are in here. There are supporting sentences, right? And if I just fire this up again, here we go. So we've got a topic sentence. I'm just going to jump to the answers here. Here are the answers, okay? And obviously the students could fill those in. But I have a question for you, right? There are 3 sets of supporting ideas, right? Physical appearance, tall and strong, a nice smile. Personality, smart, kind, funny, etc., etc. Actions, helps me study, yada, 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 right? Which of these things do you feel is an important quality of a good friend, and which other things do you feel are not important qualities of a good friend? So as an example, is being tall and strong an important quality for a good friend? And for example, most of us might say, well, not really, because short and weak people can be good friends too, right? Okay, so let's think about, of these ones here, which ones do you feel are qualities that make a friend a good friend? So all of B, all of C, do your friends all have to be smart? Is that really important for all of your good friends? I don't know, maybe, right? Kind, yeah, I think kind's a good one. Raina, I agree with you on that one. Personality, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are saying being kind is a really important quality. Yeah. I think, Clint, you're kind of saying B and C. I think you're saying most of the things from B and C, right? Yeah. Some people might feel that makes me laugh is not necessarily a friend's a thing that makes someone a good friend, but maybe helps me study is maybe is there for me is a good a thing that I want to see in a good friend, right? So yeah, but there are a lot of these sorts of things. So when we do our writing later, I kind of want you to make sure you have lots of these ones, lots of these kinds of things. This one doesn't matter so much, right? For a good friend. We're doing that for English practice. That's for English practice, right? But I want you to do these ones to think really about your friends for the topic, okay? Good. So just know that we're practicing English, but we're working on the topic as well, okay? Good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of fun here. We're going to jump over. We're going to skip over. There's a bunch of grammar things here. We're just going to skip all of that for the moment. We're going to jump. This is more grammar and editing and things. We're going to jump straight to here. We're going to jump to some brainstorming, and then we're going to write, okay? But I'm going to give you a new way to write today, okay? Now, we're going to write about a friend we admire. We're going to have some supporting sentences or things we can do. And one of the things we're going to do in here is you can see a lot of these words here, over here somewhere. We had things with comparative adjectives. We're going to try and include a little bit of that as well. But what I'm not going to get you to do is I'm not going to get you to write in the chat box. We're going to have some fun because we're going to do this with ChatGPT. I don't know if you've played with ChatGPT. It's a bit of fun. It's really fun for making quick writing. If you don't know about this tool as a teacher, you should, simply because your students do, and they will use it to make their writing homework, and you need to know what it's going to look like so you can spot when they're maybe not doing the best effort that they could. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get ChatGPT to write us a paragraph about a friend, right? So we're going to put in an instruction for ChatGPT. Write a paragraph. Oops, I can't type today. Paragraph about who are we gonna get this to write about? Give me a name. Who's our friend? What's the name of my friend that we're going to get ChatGPT to write about for us? Jerome. Okay, we've got to take the first one in the chat box. Jerome. Now, is there any way that we want ChatGPT to write about? So I could say, for example, including some reasons why Jerome is my best friend, perhaps, right? These are some of the things I want it to add. Okay, now we can also give it style instructions. Is there any style instruction that you want to put in here, right? Is there any kind of style elements or other things that you want to put in? What could we put in here? What ideas could we put in? Okay, so use academic vocabulary. Okay, we'll see what that does, right? And what else? What else? Any other things that we want to put in here? Because I said it before, because we were talking about comparative edges. Okay, and some humor. Okay, good. And use comparative adjectives. Let's see what this does, right? Did I spell comparative wrong? Okay, there we go. Comparative adjectives. Okay, right. Okay, let's see what this does when I hit the button here. It will generate. Oh, an error occurred. Why did an error occur? Uh-oh. Why did an error occur? Regenerate response. Let's try. Oh, no, it didn't like it for some reason. Okay, let me try again. Is it because I've been logged in too long? I might need to log back in again. Okay. It's probably because it logged me out. There we go. Let's try it again. So write a paragraph about why Jerome is a good friend, including reasons. Use academic vocabulary, and comparative adjectives. Adjectives and some humor. Okay, let's see if that works. Here we go. Jerome is undeniably an exceptional friend. Oh, there's some academic vocabulary. When it comes to loyalty, he is second to none. Compared to other friends, Jerome has always stood by my side through thick and thin. He's a remarkably dependable friend who's always eager to willing in a hand, offering to help a hand or share a good laugh. Okay. Sense of humor is so infectious that being around him is like talking to an energy drink. It's like, taking an energy drink. His optimism and positive outlook on life make even the toughest situations seem manageable, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what did you think about what ChatGPT has made for us here? Do you feel like this is a good paragraph about why Jerome is a friend that you would like to have, or why you think Jerome is a good friend? What do you think about this output here? Pretty amazing, right? Do you wish your students could write like this? Yeah, right. It is, but this is the technology that's out there these days, right? From ChatGPT. If you don't know about it, you need to go look it up and understand what it can do, right? But now the interesting thing is, what we'll do is I'm gonna actually I can just leave that there. I don't need to copy it. Let's look at it in terms of what we would do with the writing that we make. So we've completed a draft outline, right? And then we'll jump ahead. And now we're looking at some other things over here. Let's analyze and revise. Let's do activity M. Does your topic sentence introduce the main idea to your paragraph? Okay, so where's our topic sentence? And does that introduce the main idea? So we asked for the idea about why Jerome is a good friend. So do we think this is our topic sentence? Do we feel like the first one is our topic sentence? Yeah, and does that introduce the main idea? Yeah, that Jerome is an exceptional friend, right? Okay, cool. So we've got that one tick. Does it describe your friend's physical appearance? Okay, do we have Jerome's physical appearance in here? Does it have his physical appearance? It doesn't. So it didn't follow the instruction. We didn't add that in the instructions, so it didn't put that in there, right? Okay, right. Does it describe your friend's personality? Now, this is the interesting one because is your friend Jerome really dependable? Is he really, does he really have such a great sense of humor? Maybe or maybe not. But what you can do is your students can use this maybe as a model and they can adapt it a little bit, right, to their own friend. Is it really like taking an energy drink or I don't know. Might they say it another way, right? What's some examples of a friend's actions? Now, what do you think here? It says, do you give examples of your friend's actions? So what are some actions in here? What are some actions here? Do we see some actions? So this is one thing I think ChatGPT can't do, right? It has a very loose kind of theoretical or subjective idea here. If I ever found myself, a hypothetical, if I ever found myself stranded on a desert island, he would not only rescue me, but bring a picnic basket, right? That's a hypothetical, right? But what about a concrete example? We don't have concrete examples. When did he offer a helping hand? When did we share a good laugh? Right? How do I know he's a dependable friend, right? So that's one way you can pick out if this is just generally written or if the student has actually done this, right? Yeah, okay. Do we have a concluding sentence? Yeah, I think there's a pretty good concluding sentence at the end, right? Okay. Is this interesting? Was this useful to take a look at and say, wow, this is what AI can do for me these days, right? Is that interesting? Yeah, still relevant, right? Writing is not just ChatGPT, right? Writing is not just AI, because especially if you suggest some other things in writing, like examples of actions and physical appearance and some other things, then you can add elements that mean, okay, they can get a start with a tool like this, but they're not going to be able to complete the assignment as a whole, right? And so interesting, right? But I think, why would this tool be useful to you as a teacher? How does this help you in your teacher job? How does this help you in your job as a teacher? I can think of 2 ways for myself. What can you think of? Yeah, we can get some interesting models. Great, yes, right? So Fanny, I agree with you. I can get my students to do just like I did with you. I can say, who are we going to write about? What are we going to say about them? What do we want this to look like? Bang, right? And we can get a model out there for the students to look at based on their suggestions. Okay, that's one. And the second one is ChatGPT can do this on my projector faster than I can handwrite this on the whiteboard. Because every time I used to teach writing to especially to younger students, they would give me suggestions and I'm writing it up on the board, and that takes 5 minutes, right? But if I can do it in 30 seconds, hey, I've saved 4.5 minutes, which we can then spend on other learning, right? Or more student practice or something like that. So this is a useful tool. We just have to think about how we use it, right? And when it comes to school, what message could you give students about something like this, right? To make them more ready for what they're going to need to do in school. We're talking about school readiness, right? Maybe it's the idea that this tool is a basic tool, but it's not going to do everything that's required, right? It's not going to fill in all the gaps for you. You're still going to have to do a lot of work. You're going to have to break this down and analyze it and figure out how you can improve it, right? So, interesting things, right? Interesting ideas you can put in here. But anyway, okay. So just to wrap up, we've got a couple of minutes. Let's jump back. Interesting though, right? And let's reflect really, really quickly on C. You can see there's a few things here. There's reflecting on what I can do, reflecting on what language I've learned, but also reflecting on what ideas I've learned as part of this. So what can I do with this topic? Okay, so if I said to you, I want you to go out and do one thing today to develop more casual relationships, okay, or maybe this week if today's too fast, give me one thing in the chat box that you can do to develop more casual relationships. Will was looking for suggestions, so Will, tell us in the chat box what you think you can do now. I can think of a couple for me. I'm doing them at the moment, some of them, because I moved countries 10 months ago and I'm still building up a lot of relationships in my new home. There we go. We'll say hello to people I often see but never speak to. Yeah, saying hello is a great way to start. You just say hello and people automatically feel they have to acknowledge you saying hello. So it's a great way to start an interaction, right? Wear more smiles, Sammy. I love it. Join casual clubs, says Glenn. Yep. Go along and see what's happening, right? You don't need to commit to membership, right? You just go along and see, try out for a time. Yep. Any others? Humor applicable to the situation. Yeah, humor is a little tricky sometimes because in different cultures, humor can go down differently. Some people find things funny, not everybody does. So humor can be a little tricky maybe as the start, but to develop a relationship, yeah, it can come into it, right? Yep, going out more. Yep, open your mind a bit more. Go and meet people that you wouldn't normally meet. Yep, don't be put off by appearances, right? Because appearances are not necessarily what makes a good friend, right? I've got a few friends whose appearance, for one reason or another, does not look that good, but they're still friends, right? Yeah. Treat people the way we want to be treated, Beatrix. Good. Or also treat people the way they would want to be treated if we were them, kind of thing, right? Don't just think about how I want to be treated, maybe think about how they want to be treated too. Yeah? Great. The golden rule, correct, Michelle? Okay. Very good. Well, I hope that was interesting today to take a look through those ideas. As we looked at a little bit of school readiness, but as we looked at that idea of being friends and having a bit of fun together. So hope you liked it, and I hope you got some tips that you can use for your teaching as well as exploring this lesson content that we looked at today, or the materials. Just to let you know, really quick follow-up, we will send along a reporting link and a certificate later today. Tomorrow. That will come out to you tomorrow. So check your email and that will come to you. If you don't find it, just get in touch with me. You've got my email already, and I'll help you out with that. And we do have some more webinars coming up. There's another one on Thursday, the 23rd, and this one is a little different. It's a panel discussion, okay? So we're going to have 3 people discussing social and emotional learning and how building those connections helps you beyond the classroom. Why the job of a teacher is not just about the content, it's also about building social relationships and connections, okay? So definitely take a look at that. And if you want to follow up with any of us, just drop me an email. If you want to find out more about this program I was using, I will get you in touch with someone near to you, and you can have a chat with them about Reflect, which is the program we did today. Okay, so let's just take a look. If there's any questions, have a look in the Q&A box here. Beatrix asked in the Q&A box, which technique is easier to explain at the topic sentence, using deductive approach or an inductive paragraph? I think, Beatrix, I always feel that which technique is easier is not dependent on me as much as it's dependent on my students, on my learners, right? Because as a teacher, I figure out how they absorb ideas best, in what format, in what timing, in what level of student-centeredness versus teacher-directed. And so I think that's, for me, that's kind of general. I try and a little bit shotgun the ideas, you would say. I try and offer my students several ways to connect to the idea. So I would do both deductive and inductive. I would offer opportunities so that it covers all different types of learners. So yeah, I think my answer to that one would be, I don't feel there is a single easier way. I think it's exploring it with your students and figuring out what works for them. Because I've had different classes that are completely opposite of each other, right? So yeah, okay. And Glenn asked, what age groups is the Reflect book best aimed for? So usually this one is worked with for college students, university age, 18 plus, but it can work with, say, senior high school very, very well as well. The language level material in there the language material would work for younger students, like comparative adjectives, right? Not hard, right? But some of the topics are much more relevant to teenagers who are like 15, 16 and above, right? So maybe senior high school or college students. And I know this book gets used a lot at universities for reading and writing classes, for example. So Glenn, I hope that answers your question there as well. Okay, very good. Any other questions? Someone has asked in the chat box, Vivian, how can I have a look at the material for Reflect? So Vivian, you can drop me an email and I will send you some links and you can take a look at it there. Will may have dropped it in the chat box. Will dropped it in the chat box already. There is a link there, Vivian, that you can use to go and have a look. Oh, sorry, my screen sharing stopped. But yeah, so if you want to find out more about the program, just drop me a mail, andrew.tiffany@cengage.com. We'll send some things out to you and I'll send a little bit of information in the email with your certificate tomorrow. Okay, very good. So Joyce, if you're looking forward to more webinars on Thursday, there's another one. And then next week, there's another one again. Will has already dropped in a link and I will send you more links tomorrow in the email with other ways to connect with our webinars. Okay, very good. So thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you have a good one. Go get some lunch soon, I guess, depending on what part of the world you're in. And enjoy. We'll see you real soon. Thanks, everyone.